Welcome everyone to the Goddess Temple. My name is Chris, and for today's video, what I have coming through is for you to slow down, pause, and go back in. To go back into yourself and feel your heart. And this is going to be very specific to feel your heart. Not just your gut, not just your mind, your heart, specifically your heart. Because there's a high possibility, a high potency of emotions running all around you. It's going to be the dark phase of your life coming back again. A lot of these shadows, the subconscious is going to come back to light again. And so at this time, you're being asked to go back within so you can prepare yourself for this next transition, for this next intention, for you to equip yourself mentally, emotionally, spiritually. Equip yourself so you can be grounded as you're being taken down into your more subconscious layers. And so slowing down to reflect and feel your heart. No other intentions other than just to feel your heart, to feel love. It allows you to slow down, to listen to your intuition, to take a bit more rest and ease than you normally would at this time. You're also being asked to reflect on your feelings and emotions, and to not be so quick to identify them, be so quick to give it a story, be so quick to give it meaning, because it's more intentional that you want to create different meaning, different experiences, different intentions. You're still on this path of building your career, your life, your direction. There's this one thing that you're actively building on. And so it's important for you to step in with a little bit more of an open heart and open space, because since you are putting into something new, something different, you don't have a reference point. And so you're not trying to bring your old stuff into your new. So not identifying this old patternings, these weight, it allows you to lean into parts of yourself that you haven't been able to go in deeper, to feel the emotions, the dark shadows of the emotions that are a bit overwhelming to look at, to feel, to ground. And so the most grounding thing that you can do is look at the truth, and the truth is love. The truth, the core, the balance is your heart, that love that's in there. There is a true happiness that always exists within you. There's a true grounding that always exists within you. There's a true balance that exists within you. And that balance comes from your heart space. And so coming back into yourself to notice, to feel, to experience your most heartfelt self, you are directed further down your path in the best way possible. And so as you keep moving down into your heart space, you're stepping in with more clarity. Your intuition is guiding you so you can have more clarity and you can make better and more decisive choices, and better for you. These are choices that are better for you. And when you yourself can feed yourself, when you yourself can amplify yourself, in return, an automatic overflow return, you are going to amplify and give to others. And so don't ever worry about, will you ever be able to give? You will. But first, always feed yourself your basic needs, because when you're not able to, it does become challenging to extend yourself in that manner. And when you're retreating back inwards, as you retreat back inwards, you're being informed about habits, behaviors, stories that just aren't serving you. And that's the thing. This is the focus. These are habits, behaviors, stories that are not serving you. And so because these stories are not serving you, it just could be that once upon a time it did, and right now it's not anymore. And especially with where you're stepping in and where you're going, you're starting to see what it requires for you to be there. And a lot of these limiting beliefs, it touched on unworthiness. And so you're working through your unworthiness. And so that's one of the things that you're letting go of, is the sense of unworthiness for you to have what you want to have, for you to live in what you want to live in. And so you're learning to reflect, to settle in, to know that you can breathe, that even though that the sense of unworthiness comes up and you're like, so much is happening, you're grounding yourself back in. You're coming back inwards to your own home, to your own space and sense of safety. When you get to come back to safety, it informs you and your environment that, hey, now it's safe enough for more different things to come in, that you're not constantly reacting to it, that your nervous system isn't constantly firing and setting you off, and it becomes unsafe for this experience to live and breathe within you. You are also reflecting on things that you have that have been depleting you. That's been just taking from you just because. And a lot of that leaky energy that you've been putting out, it's being refined. And it's becoming more deliberate, more intentional. And you'll notice that even your physical environment, all of a sudden it's clean. All of a sudden you have this urge, like you absolutely, this impulse. It's such an impulse for you to absolutely clean your home, your space, your environment. And if you don't, you're like, what the heck am I doing? Of course I'm going to clean it. Like, if you don't, it becomes even more unbearable. Maybe that word is a bit extreme, but it becomes so deeply uncomfortable. And so you're learning that there's no more room for this smallness, this way of behaving, this way of existing, that you have to do it differently. And you're doing it better for yourself, you're doing it better for others, and that you're moving more in integrity. And you're showing yourself that you can trust you, that you're not so fleeting, that you're more grounded, that you can trust yourself for more, for this new phase, for this new implementation, this new set of depth of you that's wanting to come out. You have to move through it, whether you want to or not. You are moving through it. And so coming back in within your heart, you're going to see what that looks like. So the thing that you've been fighting for so hard, you've been fighting so deeply to make sure that you have this, that you get to hold this, that you're trying your greatest best. But the thing is, because you're trying so hard, it's actually tightening the grip. And that doesn't allow for that relationship, that dynamic, that work, that body of work to breathe, to grow, to shed, to grow. Because it's going to look different on each phase. And so when you're learning to let go of things that are outside of you, you're learning to let go of little things inside of you, your physical environment expression, your outward expression, your physical, your outer layers are informing your inner layers that, oh wait, it's safe for me to let go of this, and I can go deeper and become more true, more real, more authentic. And that information is important, and that comes from your heart. Your ability to ground yourself and come back into your heart is what shows you what safety truthfully looks like. And that safety requires balance. It requires coming back into yourself for that balance. Your heart space knows what that balance is, knows how to implement the primal natures, primal instincts of you to your soul implementations, through your soul knowledge, wisdom, to the collective wisdom that you're connecting and bridging together. Your heart understands what that balance looks like with the physical body you have and the age that you're at and the time that you're at and the cosmic alignments that are all there. Your body understands, your heart knows that. And so it's important to come back into your heart so you can understand with a little bit more depth what that looks like and how to move through it with more sovereignty, with more direction, with a better understanding of the best and the highest way to go. That clarity comes from the balance that is embodied from your heart for your nervous system to reorient itself so it can be more intentional with how it's directing its energy. You're also learning how to let go of really volatile family dynamics. I'm going to use the word volatile just because it feels quite intense. It's not serving you. It's not serving them. Both of you are reacting rather than responding at this time. Both of you are not able to come back into your center to move. Both of you are not able to deliberately say, hey, this is the way we're going. This is the way that we're moving. This is the way that we're doing things. And so to be a bit more intentional with how you're doing things differently, and that you're going to do it in a way that lets you thrive. And so it's not only that it lets you thrive, but it also lets them thrive. It's creating space so there can be peace, that you invite in peace, because you might not know what the actionable steps can be for that peace. But it's when you give that room and that space and you both go back into your own wholeness that somehow things balance out and energies just calm down so you can work on it again and show up with more kindness and gentleness and with more love and compassion. Because it could be that right now you're not able to show up with softness and they're not able to show up with softness. And so it's softening into you, because that's your base point, is you. When you soften into yourself, you show up a bit more deliberate, a bit more kinder. And you're able to creatively get out your needs, express your needs, your intentions, your mind processes with the gentleness. And you're also reflecting on the fact that because you're moving through all of this family dynamics, that there's certain stories of your past pains, traumas, buttons that were pushed that you never got to deal with, you never got to express to them. And then when you do, you're like, the way they respond to you, you're like, what the heck does you mean by that? What do you mean I'm just dealing with my BS? Why aren't you holding space for me and being compassionate and acknowledging how you've stepped up in this space? Why aren't you acknowledging who you have been here? And so during that time, it's like the best thing you can do for yourself is come back within you, because that safety, that acknowledgement is necessary. And you come back here. You come back into yourself for that safety. And you let go. And you let go because it just isn't worth fixing and solving. But just that right now you're in a space where you need time to heal, time to nurture yourself, and you're not getting it from this space, and you're not going to get it. You can't expect it from this space. There's no safety here. For whatever reason, there's no safety. And so coming back within you, you're starting to understand what safety looks like for you. And to be more deliberate with how you're moving through it all. And to realize that you're not making the same choices that you've made before, or that have been modeled to you. You're learning to make different choices. You're amplifying your inner voice so you can, pull back from your external world. When you amplify your inner voice, you allow yourself to step in with more clarity, with better discernment, and for you to recognize when you've pushed someone in a direction that doesn't make sense for them, that's depleting for them. You learn to hold yourself accountable for your own actions. You're learning what it means to be held accountable for who you are being in this time. And that it is important for you to show up with more heart and more love. It's not for anyone else, but it's for you. And that extends outwards. As a byproduct, it extends outwards. But first, come back in here. Come back to yourself. Come back to your heart. Just as you're coming back within you, you're learning to amplify parts of yourself that were dismissed, or that just weren't given room to speak, to live, to be experienced. And so the more that you're stepping into this darker time, this shadow subconscious time, you're amplifying more of yourself. And when you amplify more of yourself, it becomes easier for you to hear beyond the darkness, to see beyond the shadows, for you to notice and recognize the possibilities, and for you to acknowledge what you have dismissed so you can put into what is there, and to put into what has been putting into you, and for you to recognize that, for you to make peace with parts that you have put aside, for you to make peace with friends and family that they try to show up in the way that they have, but they may have fallen short. And also you may have fallen short, and for you to acknowledge that. It's not about the mending process is going to come later on. But right now it's the acknowledgement part. It's the holding yourself accountable part. It's the awareness, the inner awareness, the ability to witness is what's being amplified and asking you to see and live. So at this time, you're being asked to nurture and nourish yourself, whether it be self-care practices like, having a nice steaming shower, having a nice herbal bath, to drinking a warm tea that's a nice floral brew that you have, or going on a nature walk, grounding yourself, or even activities that just nourish you, food that nourishes you. You're also learning to nourish your mental, emotional, spiritual self as well. And so the more you keep doing this, the more you keep feeding yourself, you're learning to renew yourself. You're learning to heal the parts of you that just need a little bit more time. And so that allows you to strengthen your own foundation. And when you get to strengthen your own foundation, you're starting to do that from your own self, from within. Going within, feeling your heart, you're learning how to strengthen yourself so you yourself can also be that healthy, stable, balanced foundation, ground space, home. So you can come back to it and know that every time you come back to yourself, you are always replenished. And that also others, you can show up for them as a safe, healthy, whole, loving, available person. And so this interchangeable dynamic that you're moving through is an interchangeable dynamic within yourself. And so I feel like the message is complete with that. Nope, she wants a little bit more. So she wants me to reflect on the fact that as you're diving into this, there's going to be a little bit of remnants of certain past experiences, past stories that you're like, one day I will have this, one day I will live this, one day I will do this. Whatever that is, you're going to be shown what that is. And for you to move through it and acknowledge, oh wait, now is the time for me to put into it. Even more, for it to not be a passive thing that comes through, but for me to be actively involved in it. Now I am available and ready and replenished enough to put into this thing that I have been wanting to put into. And now the message is complete. And so with that little bit, I truthfully hope that this message has provided you with a little bit of solace, a little bit of clarity, a little bit of direction along your highest path. And so with that, I wish you guys all the best, and I will speak to you soon.